651 is the beginning of the decimal chapter. We're going to start out with decimal notation and rounding. So this is just the foundation of what we'll be using later on. Decimal notation is used to denote a part of a whole. So what we have is the whole number part, the decimal point, and then we have the decimal or the fractional part. The fractions that this side represents all have denominators that are powers of 10. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, and so forth. So if we look at this chart, we can see the place values are named. Here's the decimal point. So the ones to the left are the whole numbers. We know these: ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. And to the right, we have the decimal places. We have tenths, we have hundredths, we have thousandths, we have 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, and so forth. You'll notice that these are just reflective of what's on the whole number side. We don't have any ones place, but we have tens and tenths, hundreds and hundredths, thousands and thousands, and so forth. We have the TH on this side, which shows that it is a fractional part. So it's going to be important that you know these places when we, even later on in this lesson, when we read and write decimals, but it'll be important too when you do rounding. And there's a lot of times that you might need to know the names of these places, but you already know these, so these are just a reflection of that. So if you want to write or read a decimal in words, you're going to first write or read the whole number part in words. Then you're going to write or read the and for the decimal point. So the and is for the decimal point. Oftentimes in just casual conversation we'd say 214, but really the and does not belong there. And represents the decimal point. It will go between the whole number part and the decimal part. So after the decimal point, you're going to write or read the decimal part in words as though it were a whole number, followed by the place value of the last digit. So I'm going to be writing these in words. Here's the decimal point, so we're going to read the whole number part, which is 3. Then we'll read the decimal point, which is and then we're going to read this part to the right as if it were a whole number, and that would be 5. And we're going to name the place value of the last digit. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have tenths, hundredths, 5,000 THS. That means we're over to the right of the decimal point. Here's the whole number, the decimal point, and the decimal part. So this would be 100. The decimal point is read as and. Then we're going to read this as if it's a whole number, which would be the number 1. And we're going to name this last digit, the place name for that last digit, tenths, hundredths, THS. So you see we have 100 on the left, the decimal point, hundredths on the right. Here's the decimal point, so the whole number would be 12. The decimal point is read as and. We read this number, 90. And then we're going to name this place, tenths, hundredths. It's just the word hundred with THS on the end of it. Here's the decimal point, so the whole number part would be 5. The decimal point is and then we read this number that's to the right of the decimal point, 124. 124. 24. And now we're going to have to name this last place. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. 100,000ths. THS. So this is 5 and 124 100,000ths. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. So now we're going to go the other way. It's written in words, and we're going to write it as a numeral. 6 and 200ths. We know that and is the decimal point. 6 and 200ths. I like to draw little blanks to write hundredths, tenths, hundredths, and we want 2, so we'll have to fill in with a 0 in order to hold that place, the 2 in the hundredths place. 19 and, that much is easy, 15 10,000ths. So we need tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, and then we're going to write the number 15, and we'll have to fill in with some zeros. 100 and, that part is easy, 105 thousandths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and we want to write 105. 105 thousandths. We would read the last place. So now we're going to go from decimals to fractions, and this is pretty simple. If you read the decimal, you write it as a fraction, and then if you can, you reduce it. So read it, write it, reduce it. It's the 3 R's. So if we were to read this, it would be 4 in the tenths place, and we write that as a fraction. 4 tenths is 4 tenths. And now we'll see if we can reduce that or simplify it. Sure. We can divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 4 tenths is the same as 4 tenths or 4 fifths. 1 and 25 hundredths. 1 and 25 hundredths. That's a mixed number. So can we simplify 25 over 100? Yes, we can. We can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 25. So we would have 1 and 1/4. 3 and 25 tenths, hundredths, thousandths. 3 and 25 thousandths. So if we want to reduce 3 and 25 thousandths, we can divide both numerator and denominator by 25. So we have 3 and 1/40. Again, you can put this fraction in your calculator and it'll reduce it for you, or you can do this. This is 58 hundredths. This is 58 hundredths. This is written as a decimal. This is written as a fraction. And then we're going to simplify it. We can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. We get 29/50 for our final answer. Read it, write it, read it as a decimal, write it as a fraction, and then reduce it. It's pretty simple. Don't make anything hard out of it. Ordering decimal means greater than, less than, or equal to. And when we compare these, what I like to do is I like to write them on top of each other, one above the other, and line up the decimal points. When you line up the decimal points, then you line up the places. So we're really comparing 6 tenths and 7 tenths. If you need to, you can fill in that empty place, and we have, is 68 hundredths or 70 hundredths the most? Well, 70 hundredths is the most, or 7 tenths is greater than. This next one, again, I'm writing these, I'm lining the decimal points up so that the places are lined up. And again, if I add a 0 here, everything's all nice and even. So I'm going to begin comparing with the most powerful place. The ones are the same, the tenths are the same, the hundreds are the same, but we get to the thousands, this one is greater than. So 3 and 462 thousands is greater than 3 and 4,619 ten thousandths. The next one, 4 and 163 thousandths, 159 thousandths. Again, I begin comparing at the most powerful place. Same, different. This is the greater. The next one, we have 218 and 38 hundredths as compared to 218 and 41 hundredths. We're lining up the decimal points. We're starting to compare at the most powerful place. Same. These are different. This is the big one. Now, when we get to negative numbers, what you need to do is spin your thinking cap around, because we know on a number line, when we get to the left of 0, we have -1, -2, -3, or there's fractions in there too. And these are the smallest. And these to the right then get larger, just like the whole numbers do. So you have to be careful. When we compare these two, I'm going to line them up on top of each other. I'm lining up the place value. I'm going to fill in that 0 because I think it looks easier for you to compare 20 and 5. We know that this is larger if it were positive, but it's negative, which means that this is going to be the larger one. It's the one that's closer to 0. Let's look at this one. Again, they're negative. I'm lining them up so that the decimal points line up. I'm just going to fill in the 0 just for looks. You don't have to do that. And now I'm comparing the same, and here the 3 is the largest, but since these are negatives, this one is going to be the largest. Here we have a lot of digits, and again, I'm going to line them up on top of each other, line up the decimal points. And same. These are equal. Now let's look at these. Again, I'll fill in the 0 just because I think it makes it easier to see. Same. The 1 is larger than the 0, but we're talking about 2 negatives, so this is going to be the one that is greater. Last in this lesson, we're going to round decimals. This works very similar to whole numbers. You're going to identify the digit one position to the right of the given place value, and if that digit is 5 or greater, we're going to add 1 to the given digit. If that digit is less than 5, then we're going to leave that given digit unchanged. Discard all digits to the right of the given digits. So if we want to round something to tenths, all we want left is tenths. It would be worth the same if we had a 0 on the end. It'd be worth the same, but it's not the same. That has to do with to what accuracy the answer, for instance, has been rounded. So don't be tricked and fill zeros in like you have to do when you round with whole numbers. In decimals, you're going to drop everything past that given digit. So if we want to round this number to the thousandths place, I'm going to write it over here where I can. Now I'm going to find the thousandths place, tenths, hundredths, thousands. So I'm going to round it to this place, and I'm looking next door. If this is 5 or greater, then I'm going to go up to a 6, but it's not. So I am dropping this all off, and I'm going to have 4 and 815 thousandths. I'm not putting any zeros on the end because I want my answer to be in thousandths, not 10 thousandths or 100 thousandths. Let's round this to the nearest hundred place. I'm going to write it over here a little bigger. I'm rounding it to the hundredths place. Here's the decimal point, tenths, hundredths. So I'm rounding it to this place, and I'm looking at the neighbor. And the neighbor says, go up, it's bigger than 5. So instead of 5299, instead of 99 hundredths, we're going to go up another place. So this is going to be 53 and no hundredths. We want to see the hundredths. Here in this case, we don't have any. But we need to see that. But we're dropping these off. We're going to round this number to the nearest hundredths place. 45 and 372 thousandths. We're going to round to the hundredths place. Tenths, hundredths. And we're going to look at our neighbor. And it is less than 5. So we're dropping it off. 45 and 37 hundredths. We don't want any zeros on the end. That would show that that number is accurate to, in this case, the thousandths place, and that's not what they're asking us to do. Now we're going to round this to the thousandths place. 134 and 9,996 ten thousandths. We're going to round it to the thousandths place. And when I look at this digit that's to the right, it's a 6, which means I'm going to go up. So instead of 134 and 999 thousandths, I'm going to go up. And after 999 is 1,000, which means we're going to go up to 135, but we need 3 places so that we have thousandths. Even though this would be 135, in order to round it to the nearest thousandths, we're going to have 3 placeholders. That shows it's been rounded in accuracy to the nearest thousandths. Okay, we're going to round this to the nearest tenths place. We have 14 and 795 thousandths. We're going to round it to the tenths place. And when we look next door, it's a 9, so we're going to have to go up. So it's going to be 14 and 8 tenths. We're dropping this off. Now we have 14 and 795 thousandths again, and we're going to round it to the hundredths place. And we look next door, there's a 5, so we're going to go up. Instead of 79 hundredths, we're going to have 14 and 80 hundredths. We need this 0 to be in the hundredths place. Now we're going to Now we're going to round 187 and 26,498. I don't know what that is. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 100 thousandths. And we want to round it to the nearest hundredths place. The 6 is in the hundredths place. I'm going to look next door. It's just a 4, so I'm dropping all this off, and we would end up with 187 and 26 hundredths. And the last one, we're going to round this to the 10 thousandths place. So we got to find that. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. So we're looking at next door. It's an 8, which means we're going to have to go up. Instead of 2,649, it's going to be 187 and 2,650 ten thousandths. You have to be careful. If I ask you to round a number to the tenths and you wrote this, that would not be correct. We need tenths. 7 and 3 tenths.